welcome to the Lighten Up Podcast with Lauren Polly, your invitation for living on the lighter side of life. I'm Lauren Polly, and I'm delighted you have chosen to join me today for episode 226, Opalescent White Light. Today we're going to talk about one of my favorite out-of-the-box tools for anxiety relief and overwhelmed and that kind of feeling where you feel not cared for, not supported. You're feeling a bit raw around the edges and a bit too sensitive. For a lot of people, that kind of gets looped into the term anxiety, and I think sometimes we don't draw the pieces together. That when we are feeling anxious, that really is a negation of feeling cared for and supported, not feeling whole, and not feeling like something, someone, even yourself has the ability to really support you with what you're going through. You know, from that overwhelm obviously comes in depression, anxiety. There's a whole bunch of stuff that comes up. And I think right now, just with the way the world is, it's exacerbated, absolutely. You may be noticing more of that feeling of, oh, I just think something is wrong, but I'm not quite sure what it is. But even with that, I think it's just a baseline that a lot of us are living with. Even when our lives look and feel like they're going really, really well, that undercurrent of worry, the need to control and perfect every detail. For me, I always use the term fussy. Someone called me a worry word maybe like 2 years ago, and it took me by such a surprise. I'm like, I don't worry. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm just fussy. And it took a while for me to kind of go, oh, that like fussiness, that is worry. And that's just an anxiety light, quote unquote, symptom. So I've been playing for a while with different tools and techniques. If you've read my multi-award winning book, The Other Side of Bipolar, you know this. But I want to dive into one specific one today, and that is the Opalescent White Light. And I first heard about this from Access Consciousness, which is an amazing tool, amazing toolkit basically to handle anything in your life. And it talks a lot about energy. And the first time I heard this tool of someone saying, well, have you surrounded yourself with opalescent white light? For me, it was a little bit too abstract, a little bit too out there. I didn't quite know how to work with it. So I want to break it down a little bit today and actually do some experimenting with it. If you do have the ability to be someplace where you don't have to move or maybe have your eyes open, that would be amazing. Even if you are kind of like listening to me while you drive your car, which I know a lot of you actually do. It's always fun feedback to get that I'm a great car ride companion for you. Just, be with it. See if you can just soften your edges and still experience this energy. Now, a lot of times we talk about anxiety and we don't actually hit the energy of it. We talk about the busy mind, we talk about the behavior patterns that come, again, the control tactics and the worry and the fussiness and the perfection. We talk about external stimuli and how that totally rocks our boat. When kind of like shit hits the fan, so to speak, there's a lot of things that we can get triggered with easily into these patterns. But we don't ever really talk about the energies underneath it and perhaps like a prophylactic way to deal with it. Being able to actually be more proactive and before you hit that anxiety zone, being able to care enough for yourself to utilize tools that allow you to feel cared for and supported. And for me, that's been the experience for this opalescent white light tool that we're about to go into. As I said before, it's a bit abstract, so just go with me. Basically, what you're going to do is just allow yourself to relax as much as you can. And again, if you're driving a car, relax, but please don't shut your eyes. Just enjoy the edges around you to become a little bit more soft. When we're anxious, when we're worried, when we're controlling and perfecting, when there's something that's off that we just can't put our finger on, we are in hyperdrive, hyper alert, hyper watch out mode, hyper vigilant, and our edges become very sharp. If you just allow that to start to soften and relax, you can imagine even just the skin on your body relaxing and perhaps blurring just a little bit. And allow that then to go into the energy of your mind, allowing the edges of those sharp thoughts, that hamster wheel, that judgment, that to-do list that you have, whatever it is that's guiding you this morning, just to soften too. It's okay. It'll be there and you'll get to it. You got it. You've got it. Allow that to soften even more, even more. And now, from the tip top of your head, imagine an opalescent white light. A beautiful white light oozing its way down, running its way down, flooding its way down, so that you're surrounded. And it may be different for all of you. Again, this is an experiment. It may be like stepping into a spotlight and just having a lot of light just all of a sudden be everywhere. And what amazing power that has to just relax everything. It may be a bit more of an ooze where that light starts to grow, starts to expand, starts to brighten. For me, when I play, it's typically that way. It just starts to ooze and brightens. Almost a sensation of diving into a pool in slow motion. That beautiful, beautiful sense of gentle pressure, like being hugged or cuddled from head to toe. And it's not that the opalescent white light is protecting you, keeping out the bad. It's not that at all. What it's doing is it's allowing your edges to be soft. It's allowing the harshness to relax. And it just allows the edges of the outside world and your world to play more kindly with each other. And so just imagine that as you're playing with this opalescent white light surrounding your body, oozing out and infusing your being, which of course is bigger than your body, allowing it to permeate inside your body so that every nook and cranny, every molecule is just bathed in this beautiful opalescent white light. And imagine walking through the world, walking through your day, coming up with this soft edge. That's not really an edge at all. That allows you, your body, your mind, to play more kindly with its environment, to play more sweetly with what it's aware of in the world. So that as awareness comes, as outside stimuli come, as other people come, as circumstances arise, you aren't met with a sharp knife. You aren't constantly cutting yourself on the harshness of those around you. You have a buffer of sorts, of support, of caring, of amazingness, cuddling you and carrying you forward. Being able to walk through the world with this surrounding you allows you to really be present with what's going on, still have awareness. Again, we're not protecting, we're not blocking out, we're not putting a wall up, we're just allowing everything to soften. It lets you still see what's going on. It actually gives you greater awareness so that you're not blindsided. You're also not thrown into anxiety patterns because what you're seeing on the surface doesn't match what you're aware of down below, which we go through all the time. It's just enough, again, to allow everything to be present and to be soft so that you can start moving it as needed. You can start responding to it as you're called to. Or, lovely enough, you can just let it move on through. It is our harsh edges, our defined edges, our sharp mind, our tight bodies, our anxiety patterns that actually make us reverberate and clang around and feel like we're ping pong back and forth with the noise of the world. This amazing technique actually allows you to be softer, so that clanging stops and is replaced just with space. Your awareness will actually start to feel kinder and softer and more easy to handle. And the noise of the world will start to be more diffuse. This is something that's been hugely helpful for me. I'm very triggered, I'd say, by auditory stimuli, even now as I talk to you. My neighbors have come out across the alley and are in their backyard, and my podcast. I know what noise in the background. But it's so fascinating about how often there's an external noise that comes in. That's an auditory noise. There's energetic noise, like that psychic noise that we're picking up on. There's, of course, anger. There's judgment, which is really pervasive right now with everything that's going on in the world, that right and the wrong of it all. All of that noise, as it enters into your space, can feel very harsh, and it gets louder, more pronounced than that softness. What if instead you actually prioritized the opalescent white light? You prioritize that softness and that diffuseness. And whenever that auditory stimuli, the energetic, psychic stimuli comes in, whenever any of that tight circumstances, harsh people enter your space, you're able just to go, oh, wait a second, opalescent white light. I'm going to soften my edges, and I'm going to allow that beautiful, beautiful, beautiful buffer to come, to allow myself, my body, my mind to play more kindly with this person, to play more kindly with my awareness, and to perhaps have a little bit more peace and allowance for it all. This, again, is a proactive way to start looking at anxiety. Imagine doing this when you wake up in the morning. Also, if you struggle with insomnia, doing this before you go to sleep is hugely helpful. There's a lot of different ways you can actually employ this technique. I just say go for it and explore. Also, on the 31st of this month, January 31st, I'm having a free live workshop with me. This is one tool that we may be playing with. I have 3 other big ones in mind, but it's along these same lines. They are proactive ways to actually care for yourself and feel supported, so that anxiety doesn't become a constant trigger or a constant undercurrent in your life. It's no longer the baseline, where instead the baseline is one of that oozing support, this opalescent white light energy, where you're cared for and you know you can care for yourself. I would love for you to join me. I'll put the link down below, and we will see what else is possible. We're calling this Anxiety Free 2021, and really and truly, what would it be to have a new year roll through, and also a new you? And a new you in a way where you get to actually let go of what's been triggering you in the past. And the possibility for being supported and for playing more kindly in the world. And for having the world play more kindly with you. So that that sense of support and that support of, I got this, I can handle it. And more than anything, more than that, I know I can thrive. Have an amazing week. Please listen to this episode again. Please play with this tool. Reach out to me if you have comments or questions at laurenpolly.com. And I truly hope I see your sparkling face on the 31st on that online event. Have an amazing week. And as always, I will chat with you next Tuesday.